Hi, I'm Rumi, and today I'll be talking on the idea that what religion is to dogmatism is what education is to liberation. So, in the following presentation, I'll be talking on the coexistence between these four terms and on the stance taken by me. So, to begin with, let's start with the question of what is religion. So, religion can be defined as the worship of a superhuman or existence of God or faith by some, while it could be perceived as superstition, blind doctrine, or belief based on stories with no evidence. But what really needs to be questioned over here is will preaching religion will lead to dogmatism or liberation? So, dogmatism and liberation can be seen over here as the two extremes of preaching religion. So, the question is where is the path of preaching religion leading a person to? Is it dogmatism or is it liberation? So, similarly, when we try to answer the question of what is education, some may define it as knowledge, training, logic, or enlightenment, while for others, it might be just discrimination, following stated procedures and norms, or restricting ideas. The same question that needs to be answered here as well is where getting educated will make a person dogmatic or will liberate it. Now, the elephant in the room to be answered over here is can liberation be attained via preaching religion or via education? Or can religious fanaticism is the way to dogmatism or liberation? So, in the coming slides, we'll try to link these four terms with some examples that we have seen in the past or are experiencing and in the present, and then let's take a decision on the stance what you really feel. Is there a coexistence between the four, or these four are four mutually exclusive independent terms? Now, liberation. Liberation is often seen as the purpose of education, and our history has shown and given a lot of evidence for this. Be it the women rights movement, be in the liberation from social or state structures. The women rights movement, also known as the women's liberation movement in the 1960s or 1970s, or the LGBTQ movements which started in 1960s. Also, various examples that can be seen with Indian context could be abolition of sati that happened with the Bengal sati regulation in 1829, or abolition of the practice of untouchability or increased tolerance towards intercaste marriages. So these are few examples where we can see that how education has made the society, the world a better place to live in, and where we can say that the purpose of education is truly attained. The next set of comparison that we'd be doing over here is between education and dogmatism. Is education the dogma of liberation? Well, the examples that came to my mind were the examples of Holocaust and terrorism. To begin with, Holocaust was ideated or rather started by few of the world's greatest minds. The community which was set up to plan the entire Holocaust consisted of PhDs, scientists, and great educated persons of the world. And today we all know what Holocaust was, how terrible it was for the world history. Now, talking about terrorism, so often the terrorist organizations they have the technology, they have the weapons, they have the right educated minds to create the disruption. So, looking at these two examples, can we say that education is nothing but the dogma of liberation? Next is liberation through religion. Is it really achievable? Well, over here, I would like to cite the example of Matthew Ricard. Matthew Ricard is 69 years old, and today he is a Tibetan Buddhist monk who has been called the world's happiest man. Well, today he has become a monk who has withdrawn from the world for religious reasons. So, can we really say that if we preach religion in the right direction, it can liberate you from the society and make you a happy person? That is a question to be pondered upon. Moving upon to compare dogmatism and religion. Is it correct to say that dogmatism is something beyond mythology and beyond religion? Living in a country like India, I would like to cite an example of my own country, which was the Ayodhya dispute. The dispute that happened over whether a particular monument should have been a mosque or a temple, just on the basis of the religious beliefs, which has no evidence. This entire dispute happened, which led to civil unrest throughout the country. Also, looking at the history, one of the dreadful wars is Bosnian War. So, according to the Encyclopedia of Wars, out of all the 1,763 known or recorded historical conflicts, 123, which is 6.98% of the total wars, had religion as their primary cause. Is this statement sufficient enough to say that preaching religion in an extremity can lead to dogmatism? Well, through these examples, my stance is that yes, the coexistence is real. Dogmatism and liberation are the two extremes, but the tool to achieve these two extremes is not only religion or education, but it could be achieved through any means. Thank you.